All right, good morning, and it's another beautiful day in the 2021 Thanksgiving weekend. I am now moved back into the original hotel I was in like 5 days ago, and I'm just sort of getting settled. I have 2 hours today to just get through the reading and the writing. I'm not feeling terrible. I slept more than usual, but I also slept a lot more than the average of like the last couple days. So I suspect that I'm gonna feel a little. I suspect I'm gonna feel a little jittery. I just had some coffee, so I suspect that I will have I suspect I will have some trouble staying like calm and collected. I feel jittery. That said, I think it won't be too hard to manage because I'm just energetic. So, without further ado, oh wait, I should make sure I'm locking this stuff in. I'll get the timer going. Let's get started on the test. 3, 2, 1. All right. I just lost 30 seconds right there. A writer, the wife, Castleman. Ugh. Trying to describe shepherd's pie. Roof. It's kind of funny. I don't know how to explain why it's so funny. Let me make sure. Okay. We have this library scene. Oh, we're continuing with the scene. Continuing with the scene, I said. I don't know what this word is. Hotels, tour buses, an unreal remove, other Americans. We have a curious soul who wants to know more. Never been in love. A political meeting in someone's basement. Never done anything that could be considered independent. At Smith, girls surrounded me. Safe as shepherd's pie. We come back to that image. Now I'm still in the library. Finally writing. I just wrote The Wall of Femaleness. That's what I knew. The 3 different shampoos. 600 voices rising together, convocations. This is the alma mater, I assume. even with the eyes closed, you could see. Very excited to talk to this. Okay, we're against Abigail. Ooh. No markings. Where's my watch? Okay. Right now we're at 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, wow. Okay. Silly me. Silly me. I need to stop the time because that was a big mistake. You know, I've been kind of over these mistakes the last last couple times, but apparently they come to plague me. The thorn in my side, learning how to stream this thing. Okay, so let me change the date on this thing. Suddenly I'm like not even sure that this is the right file, but you know, I'm just gonna trust myself here. Okay, so we have we're at 5 minutes right now. 5 minutes. And I'm at 2020 October, the first passage. I think that should be good enough. Oh, it says I probably should clarify what I was doing. So on this side, I took note of just being in the library, her sort of musings about things, and then she goes over to, then the focus changes to the professor, and he likes it. All right. I just had moments of reaction. I laughed at the shepherd's pie, and I remember I kind of remember those perfumes, and at the very end, I felt something like vaguely sinister, but it turned out he liked the writing. Not a bad story. Let's get going. I'm going to start the time again. 3, 2, 1, go. Summarize this passage, embarks on a search for an audience. Nope. Nope. Succeeds to convey okay. Read her need for exchanges. Conveying her experience. She eventually does succeed because at least one person does enjoy it, because she originally has trouble writing, right? And this is finally the breakthrough. Okay, it's good enough. 550. A writerly fashion during line 8 was a failure. Which of the following? We're at 610. A concern to the narrator. Risks. Being bored? Unappealing? Misunderstood? I don't feel like B and C. Hang on. I don't remember risks. But top right. Okay. What if no one ever wrote? Well, I kind of missed that the first time. What if no one ever read what I wrote? 7. Okay. Ignore distant loan. That must be the same area. Yep. Ignore distant. Sure. Not isolation. Not hostility. Desire. No. Quality. Isolation maybe. Okay, let's go back because I eliminated isolation. Hang on. What if no one ever read what I wrote? What if the language untouched? Loan. Ignore distant loan. Ignored. Oh, it is isolation because she's the one who's there by herself. She's there by herself in the. She's there by herself at the library. It's quiet. It's a quiet place. Okay. 33 pinned most narrowly means 1 to 3. 33 pinned. Pinned behind windows, like kind of tucked behind, like left, like get stuck behind, suspended behind, confined behind, attached, displayed, and suspended behind is a little confined behind. Confined behind. Confined. Did I say confined? Confined behind. Confined behind. It's a strange rhyme. Let's go. That was 8:45. 8:45. It's taking a little longer than I wanted to, but okay. Yeah, I'm taking too long. Resemble, because they're all females, they're all the same. Sheltered from exposure to good. I'm not overwhelmed, not afraid, not uninterested. Sheltered. Okay, the wall is best described as 52 the wall, 52 the wall, 52 the wall. The wall of femaleness. Okay, it kind of keeps you from. It's like a thing that kind of keeps you from like experience things. Maybe. Alerts to failure. Social. That sounds about right. Social conformity. Is it for success or is it? I wrote about the wall. Right, conformity everywhere. Rising up together. Yeah. Conformity. That is right. Idealizes. We need to go to the second page at the top. This whole bit. Up until 65. 64, 65. Let me just see. Maybe that's what it was like to be like a writer. That's a little bit of idealizing. It's a little weak, so I'm going to double check. 78 through 90. I'm just looking from within. Yep, nope, that doesn't help. Nope. Yeah, that's the best one. That's the best one out of these three. I'm going to move. Hang on, we are 10:30. 10:30 is already a little later than I wanted it to be for what I thought was a fairly easy passage. The narrator feels indignant. No, because this girl is laughing, right? This was apparently, yeah, the party. Okay, is it a party? Is increased by 71. We could start even at 68, but 71, and then 73, 78 would not work because that word starting with finally is probably not very useful. Finally, yeah, that doesn't work. So we are solid there. That is 11:15. And I'm a little faster than normal, but a little slower than I want it to be. Okay, now I'm going over here. All right, let's keep moving. Hossack. A violation of the Fugitive Slave Law, Chicago, for aiding an escaped slave. 1860. He is Scottish. I'm a foreigner. A land never conquered, where a slave never breathed. He becomes what God made him, a man. Of your free institutions, your pearlands. Farm to get bread. Made Chicago what it is today, having shipped one of the first grain exported from the city. I am one of the pioneers. So this is about him. Okay. His qualifications here. Natives. No man has greater interest in the U.S. because I am opposed to the carrying out of wicked right. And it is because that I stand before you today. This is where the shift to the argument comes. And this also obviously hints at the argument over here. So this is such a great argument. I'm so glad this person existed. Sir, party versus principles of practice, right? Those are two different things. They all agreed. Cursed system of slavery. Slavery and aristocracy. How could I support a worse aristocracy? To embrace and split these all classes, all quarters. Clarkson and Wilberforce, my native land. British abolitionists. Okay. And of Washington and Franklin. Right. He's doing that historical appeal. The Redeemer himself. The spiritual appeal. Heal the brokenhearted to preach. Can I be anything but an abolitionist? For surely for this I ought not to be sentenced. Is that various? Okay. He makes the moral appeal first of all, and now this is the legal appeal. They are traitors. Traitors to the Constitution. I go not to the debates to find truth. I go to the Constitution. All men were created equal. That these great men intend to make a government that should outrage justice. Okay, not quite what we would consider legal in this day and age, but it's a solid argument. We're at 15:45, so that took me how much? That took me about 4.5 minutes. So I'm going fast. I'm being snappy compared to before. The purpose. Let me double check. Wasn't that one question I skipped at some point? Okay, seems like I'm okay. I just freaked out for a second. The purpose of the passage is to convince the presiding judge that is in conflict with various should not be considered crimes. Okay, should not. He doesn't even accept that they are illegal, and why would he? That suggests that that he is from a place like freedom is a good thing. Yeah. No, all of these are right. 1655. Chicago. Primary serves to emphasize his contribution and his investment in. Yeah, okay. Cool. And then we're at 1710. Now over here, Hasek indicates that because of the name? Was it the name? Yeah, there's a charm in the name. Yep, that's correct. Let's go. 34, 35. Swayed an iron rod over. It's slavery. Characterize the force of slavery. Not an individual. Not a group. Maybe this. Weaker nations. Hang on. 34, 35, let's double check. That ever swayed an iron rod over any nation, the system of slavery, to gain the favor of the most cursed system of slavery that ever swayed an iron rod, system of slavery. Whew, discrepancy. However much the great parties might differ upon basis of it, and one thing they agreed in when trying to in trying which could stoop the lowest gain to gain the favor of the most cursed system that ever swayed an iron rod over any nation. So a group is no, an individual is no, control of the weaker nation is no, and the processes is the system. The ideals doesn't really come out right away, and that's kind of the awkwardness. But I guess to know. You know what? I can't find immediate evidence for the ideals, but I just eliminated all the others. I still feel, because there are others I'm still confident that they're wrong. That I will continue 1910. That took 2 minutes too long. Okay. Reasonably infer from the passage, Hasek became an abolitionist because no, he had not become kind of unjust. No, was another form of the unjust, the aristocracy. Okay, just gonna move on. I'm confident there. Okay, 1950. Profess. Where's profess? I place myself upon the Constitution in the presence of the nation who have the thing read to them and profess to believe it. The nation professes to believe the Constitution. The nation professes to believe the Constitution. Right now, claims to believe the Constitution. Most clearly suggests that in Hasek's view, those who distort the principles should be considered. Oh, there's a specific line exactly for that they are the traitors. That's 62-63. Let's go. 62-63. Okay. Inferred from the passage that Hasek regards the authors of the documents to be on the side are the authority on which this law rests, who intended to reflect the actual practice of important ideals. Yeah, that makes sense. Calculate my benefit, ambition, no. Well, maybe not. Nope. Okay, 2105. Best evidence. Intended. Did they intend, right? Did they intend? I think there was a rhetorical question. right? Can it be, sir, that these great men intend to make a government? All right, 80 to 84, 80 to 84. Let's go 80 to 84. And now we are at 2130. All right. I think we're good. I think we're good. Discrepancy between the ideals. There's like an irony, right? That the system is swaying an iron rod over the nation. So I'm just looking at this particular thing. Like, as long as it didn't say group, I could choose B. Because D is just strange. All right, I gotta move on. Okay. I'm not high confidence anymore, but I gotta move on. 2220. Let's go. In many areas of the world, including California's Mojave Desert, cloud seeding doesn't produce rain. Does cloud seeding produce rain? I guess this is going to be more neutral. Negative and then neutral. Rain is precious rare. And then they use cloud seeding. Modification, increased precipitation by dispersing chemicals into clouds. And I've heard of this before where they forced it to rain. Albert Levin Haufen. By chance, big deal. The increase in rainfall through changing weather. Instead of, yeah, that's big. That's big. Cyclone. Okay, it is so this pattern in the cyclone. There was a 6-year period that was originally thought to be a product of it, but then turned out to just be a cyclone. Boo! Because they found something They found something over the mountainous regions. They checked the mountains. Okay, I had to double check that logic real quick. Right now we're at 25 minutes, right? 25 minutes. The conclusion of a 6-year study. Hang on, let me just double check. This is 2017, 7 years later. Most comprehensive regulatory weather actually increases. Same question. WWMPP. Let's go. Avengers go. Wasn't able to provide the hey, Avengers, no answer. But the results do provide a better. That clean seeding is working under certain conditions. Under certain conditions, which is a difference, right? It's a difference between the left side and right side, first and second passages. Brointjes, NCAR, Brointjes, was not part of the project, although it's called. Okay, he was not part of the project. It's okay, but sure. Okay, but we are just quoting him for some reason. Earlier studies would inject silver iodide, then compare precipitation gauges. That sounds similar to the left side, to passage 1, but the studies were not repeatable, that they weren't due to chance, The challenge of measuring the effect of weather modification is that natural variability is much larger than the precipitation itself, the augmentation itself. How? 150 tests, random selection to see, and clouds to be either unseated control. Oh, so yeah, they didn't just do it. They didn't just look at historical data. They actually looked at specific. They did like comparisons, control, experiment, condition, and treatment comparisons. Seeding elevated snowfall. Only after we're not statistically significant. Yo, no statistical significance. So we're just talking about the promise, but we don't know if it's going to actually work. Remote sensing, dynamics. So this is just a random side comment. Oh no, it's not just a random side comment. They're valuable because growth of snow in a cloud. So we can see the actual process rather than waiting for the cloud to come out, waiting for the snow to come out. Cheaper than random. Oh, right. Because if you see it just forming, if you can confirm that it's forming right away, that's gonna be better data, for sure. So that's big. That's huge. That's huge for these scientists. I mean. All right, let's go into the questions. Practice. I'm not tired. Yes, I'm tired. No, I'm tired. No, I'm not. So practice. The common practice of cloud seeding with materials such as blup might not be so effective. Let's go. Common procedure. The main purpose of the third paragraph, 1825, is to just begin the description of this study, and hang on. Do we get the describe the design of the story as the study, exaggerated success, solution, new undershoe. Okay, hang on. Let me just double check. Solution to a puzzle, right? Is that right? I would say it's not a puzzle. A new understanding. 50 years worth of data with emphasis on rainfall amounts. Comprehensive database and compared statistics from periods. So the amounts of periods finished. And that gives us a new understanding. Is that true? Yeah. It's new because we now reveal this. That it's through chance. Yeah, that seems more accurate. Oh, that took a while. 30-10. Okay, let's go. Inferred. Important reason for the conclusions reached by Alpert and his colleagues was the presence of snow in a separate region. Conditions that could reasonably account for Okay. Through changing weather patterns. This increase corresponded with conditions that could explain the rainfall. Significant rain. Okay. Yeah. That works. 31. Oh, I already should have got the line reference, but yeah. 34 to 37. Okay. Conclusions of WWMPP can never complete confidence. I mean, it's still not statistical, right? I mean, 79. Yep, 79. Because, yeah, this is the big qualification. That's the major qualification of that story. Choice best represents different meanings of run in 46 and 40, 68, 46, 40, 68. 46, the study was conducted to extend over to conducted to the study was conducted to continue. Okay. The study was supervised, evaded, study was carried. I mean, all three of these are just wrong. And then to extend and continue both work. Okay. We're at 3225. The fifth serves primarily to. Oh, fifth serves primarily to first. Oh, I just zoned up. I zoned up. 8285. A different development, a different direction forward. That improved. No, that will improve, right? To justify key information. Compare. No, maybe improve this correct. Maybe improve this correct. Let me just double check. Also took. Oh, I see. But then we don't know. But we don't actually know the results. That's kind of why I thought it will be useful. But yeah, I have to go with improved. That's kind of awkwardly cut passage, but sure. $33.30. An experiment addressing a certain problem. Ooh. Not really the same weakness. Yeah. 3404. Which choice best reflects the designs of the studies? The first one compared not clouds, okay? The first one considered not necessarily, I guess, I mean, that's kind of true. Utilize, no, not equipment. Existing data, good. New experiments, good. So I just looked at the passage 1 first. I just dealt with one passage at a time, 34-35. Okay, compared to the way in which the author of passage 1 presents Albert's study, the passage 2 as being less definitive, not more relevant or abstract or less. Right, because in passage 1 it makes it sound like, oh, it's just not true, right? Let's just double check. Now reveals, yeah, I mean, it's still qualified, but this is a lot more qualified, okay? And even if we just look at the title, not effective versus does it. So pretty high confidence there, and that's the end of the third passage. That's 35 minutes and 25 seconds. Let's go. We are at the fourth passage. Contagious, things catching on, viruses. Oh no, not viruses, social dynamics. All right, here we go. Geography. The venue, okay. But it does. Oh, I've read something like this before where like churches would make you more conservative or something. I don't remember what it was. Or schools make you more democratic. Rational, stable, yes. Right, the building shouldn't affect behavior. But we weren't so sure. People are not that rational. But can also be churches, buildings, office buildings, or other venues, right? Public buildings, right? So lots of buildings over here. Okay, these different locations contain different triggers, right? Religious imagery, education experience. They might change behavior. Could voting in school lead people to support educational funding? Almost certainly so. If you know any psychology, we get primed. Mark Meredith. Okay, 3 researchers, Meredith, Wheeler, and I. %40 in churches, 20% in schools, 10% in community centers. Raising the sale tax from 5 to 6. Okay, so that's a pretty big increase. That's more than 10%. To support public schools, hotly debated, tough decision. The polling should be the same. The support should be the same at all locations, but it wasn't. More than 10,000 more people voted in favor of school funding than when the polling place was a school. Dramatic. Yo, how do we know if it's dramatic? 10,000. Come on, give me the percentage, not just the absolute number. And the initiative passed. Anyway. Persisted even after we control for things like regional differences. So they addressed counter arguments or potential problems. Two similar groups of voters to double check. Okay, maybe it's the living near the school that made a difference, right? So they double check that. Trigger more school. A 10,000 vote difference, but it was more than enough to shift. Yeah, but tell us the percentage, bro. Dude, it's not good science unless you tell. Dude, that's such an unscientific. That's so frustrating. Okay. That is frustrating science. Thank you. Increased percentage likelihood. Thank you. After controlling demographic. See, that's why. They didn't say the thing because it's less than 1% improvement when voting in a school. Okay. And living in a school. Oh. Wait, what? Oh, if they live near a school, it actually goes the other direction. Oh, no, this is all. I misread it. Of course the results for controlling for demographics drops it, so that's fine. Oh, but the difference, okay, the difference is more pronounced for people if you include all voters rather than for yeah, but these are such small numbers. How are you supposed to work with this? Okay, 40 to 30. That took too long. Let's go. Main idea of the passage. Geographic variation is not the main idea. Affected by proximity to schools is not the main idea. Surroundings, yes, that is the main idea. 45. Exact, line 3, most nearly means exact, line 3, exact, the particular, yes, particular, 41. Traditional view of voting behavior would say that the school funding passed because the majority of voters believed in it. Reason views, yeah, that's correct. I don't even need to check the rational the rational model of the rational economic model of people's behaviors, right? There's a lot of criticism for that because people are not that rational. They don't act that way. They're biased by lots of different things. There's lots of research on this. To illustrate, we need to illustrate that kind of rational view. So illustration is probably over here. Okay, that's the illustration. So 9 through 14, 9 through 13, 9 to 13. Right? Yep, that makes sense. So we're looking at 4210. Characterizes himself and his team as unconvinced by assumptions about. Yep, that is correct. Because we don't believe that people are that rational. Deeply invested in the outcome of the vote. Many be okay. The school funding, was that here? Okay. No. That's not the one. That's not the one. Here we go. Most people support education. Hotly debated. That's the more useful one. Deeply and hotly. 45. Looking at 45. 44, 45. Deeply invested. Hotly debated. 44, 45. This initiative have been hotly debated. Yes, that's where the deeply comes in. Dramatic. Most nearly means dramatic. Had a big, significant, huge, sizable, striking, theatrical, abrupt, striking, not sensational. Had a striking, let me just double check, because a striking impact on voting behavior, or noticeable. And now we are at 4340. Okay. The function of the last paragraph in context of the whole. In context of the whole. Okay, I had to do a bit of a little detour. Sorry, I had to deal with something. Let me see. Where were we? I forgot where I was. Last paragraph in context of the whole. I'm looking at the last paragraph. Oh yeah. Stakes. What are the stakes? You know, and then it. The significance of the potential criticism. Nope. Light on film. Other. Nope. Other fields. Nope. Summarizes the argument that this sought to overturn. Nope. Exception. Oh, whoa. Other than political science? Oh, I see. Should be understood. The criticism is that it's not big enough. Yeah. Easy. It might not seem very much, but it's big, is what he's saying. Which statement best identifies a weakness in the author's claim in the last sentence? In the last sentence. Percentage. Which offered it. Yeah. I think I'm biased towards C because, let me just reread the last sentence. Right, because they're not the same. They're not the same. We don't know about a trigger influence particular, but fails to provide evidence for this elsewhere in the last sentence. No, he doesn't state that it did influence it. He doesn't state that it did influence it. He says that, right, but only one instance of a trigger. Right, we only have this one instance, and then he jumps from the 10,000 to the 1,000. So that is a weakness. 4655. 4655. When they lived closer to each other, the increase in the effect was not as big. I mean, that's easy. They did. It's 0.5%. Last row of columns B and C. Oh, based on the passage. Oh my god. Okay, based on the passage, that area just helped us to remove some potential biases. Rule out alternatives to the explanation. Okay. Yeah. 4855. All right, and I think that's done for that particular passage. Let's go. We are at trophic cascades on islands. I'm just noticing this idea comes out in line 60. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Let's get going. I'm just a quick stretch. I'm tired. Wait, here we go. 500 islands in the 70s. Vertebrates, lizards and birds. Area could survive. Lizards on tiny islands. Oh, because you can at least 2 orders. Does that mean 100 times? 100 times the number of Bahamian, I don't know. Surmise or known to have. Okay, good. Check many islands to determine such thresholds became a large number of islands without lizards. So second, even more exciting, spiders. Okay, so not as huge, but we learned about spiders. Right. No lizard means more spiders. Terrestrial arthropods. Terrestrial arthropods. What were arthropods? Arthropods? Like insects? Sorry, I can't focus right now. Let me try that again. I just lost focus. Some comparative data proponents a strong negative effect on the. Sorry, I'm just getting distracted right now. Let me do that again. We need a more reliable experimental comparative data versus experimental data. Strong negative effect, right? But we don't want to just like look at. We don't want to look at just statistics. We want to understand. We want to understand actually what's happening within it. We want to experiment. We want so towards that end, we state that 9 approximately 80 on 3 of these plots were unenclosed, had wood frame fences made of hardware cloth. Lizards removed. So we had 6 plots, right? 9 plots. 9 plots. Okay. Test the lizard effect and where the cage control. Lizard removal had spider densities 3 times higher. There we go. There we go. That's what I was thinking. Numbers of spider species was higher. Species is higher. Parallel to the comparative studies. So it confirms the parallel comparative studies. Client sticky traps were also higher than lizard removal enclosures. Therefore, an increase in spiders did not completely compensate for the absence of I don't fully understand this part, but okay. Sticky traps cut about 20. Then the open plots. Oh, I see. This is a whole separate right, because obviously there's more. Apparently, there's more insects when it's open. What was the mechanism of the now firmly established lizard effect on spiders? Predation. However, a second is competition for food. Oh. Prey large in relation to their size, so lizards and spiders might overlap. We're not sure. Might overlap in prey size. Okay. All right. Wow, I lost some time there. Holy moly. What the heck? That took way too long. I just lost it over here. God, that is frustrating. Okay, so, but I gotta keep it moving. So we have the lizards removed. When we have the lizards removed, we have these dramatic numbers. What's this numbers? The number of all spider species. So it goes up and down, up and down, but it stays significantly higher. That is significantly higher. And whether it's unenclosed or natural density, it's basically the same. The only thing is that when it was unenclosed, there were more insects. Okay, figure 2, percent composition of lizard diets and spider diets in lizard effect. So here we're trying to see the competition, the prey, right? We're trying to look for things that have. So for example, this one's huge. This is like half of what the spiders are eating, but it's literally like an eighth of what the lizards are eating. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. This is also huge. This is 30% of what the spider's eating, although this is not so huge. But yeah, this one in particular, and this one as well. There's like, and these three in particular have some significant overlap. Okay. All right, so moving on. Now we are at, we are at 5710. 5710. Let's keep it going, ladies and gentlemen. Used in lines 11, line 11, line 11. Check most nearly means. We have to go visit many islands. We have to go inspect many islands. The statement in 25, 27, and lines primarily serve to 25 to 33. Right. This is just talking about how to understand the data that they are controlling for certain types of variances, additional variables that they took into consideration. Okay, concede. Was weaker? Nope. Discuss the potential to assumptions? No, I don't think so. The nature of the data? Nope. There's no assumptions that are there. I mean, I can't fully explain it in just this moment, but I know that that's kind of wrong. Gosh. Adjusted. It's adjusted. It's just adjusting the data, right, for area and distance. That's not based on an assumption. 58 minutes and 30 seconds. We are reasonably inferring that the studies were significant in part because they early 1980s, early 1980s, they were significant because they gave comparative data, right? They gave comparative data. A second study. The 80s study kind of helped us establish a connection between the spiders and the lizards. More diverse. Oh, yeah. That was also there, right? That was at, right here, 34, 37, 34, 30, oops. 34, 38. The advantage had over the observational studies is that it could actually demonstrate the mechanisms, right? Control for factors that might have influenced the results of the, no, because that's not the kind of thing you do for observational studies. Human-made, nope. Isolate from other species to prevent error, nope. Provide a better understanding. I mean, yeah, it's a little broadly spoken, but that's true. Looking between 39 and 56, but we want to look at the initial. So probably to eliminate alternative hypotheses, a more reliable will be experimental, right? So we want to eliminate alternative hypotheses. 39 to 42. 39 to 42. So I think this is the correct answer, but let me just understand. Isolate? What? Control for fact. I guess broadly speaking, this is true. because we're not trying to get a better understanding of diverse compositions among islands. Okay, so that's just wrong. But control is right. Controlling for factors, because right, when you're just doing an observational study, you're just not controlling anything. I'm gonna go with it. You know, I'll circle it for now. Line 51, maintain most likely means 51 for maintain, 51 maintain lizards. Right, to keep, you know, yeah, okay, keep. Keep works. We're at 62 right now. Best support explanation presented in lines 71 to 74. We need something, if true, that would explain 71, 74. So what is the thing that is missing in 71, 74? Yeah, so we don't know if they actually overlap, but now we can know the total. So we want to see the overlap. Survival rate. The total consumer spiders was reduced in lizard enclosures on unenclosed plots compared with biomass consumed. Yeah, that makes sense. Webs. Unenclosed plots. The insects were larger? No. Okay, we're at 60, 63, 16. Oh my god. Okay, the overall mean population of spiders in plots where lizards were removed. Mean population. Lizards were removed. You know, the overall mean number. $75 and 100? 100, 125? What? Do we even have the number? The overall mean population of spiders in plots where lizards were removed. Mean population were... Oh, dude, I didn't see that. 75 to 100. Most strongly suggests that the presence of lizards helps to reduce variability over time. That doesn't make sense because they would have to get stronger. More spiders prey on more insects in the fall. No, we don't know about spiders. Tend to be larger in spring than in summer. Let's talk about spring and summer. Spiders larger in spring. Larger in spring. No, they go up in summer. Where do we have spring? Spring and summer. Dude, this is wasting so much time. Oh yeah, dude. Oh my god, C was so easy. I totally missed that. And it's already 65 minutes. I lost time. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe I lost time. How did... It's so frustrating. Okay. I'm frustrated today. I'm sorry. Just, not good. Not good. I'll finish this off though. Figure 2. Best support. Best word that there are some insects that compose Lepidoptera, Coleoptera, Hymenoptera. So we don't know about the largeness, okay? In the Anolis lizards were not dependent on a single thing. Yeah, that's true. Super easy. Alright, 66, 45. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Alright, let's go and check the answers first. Let's go and check the answers. Hang on. I'm scared of iCloud because iCloud fails to save things sometimes. But I think it should just be saving it now. Okay. Which means now that it's basically saved, I'm allowed to open it in a different computer so I can check the answers really quickly. And we're looking at CBBAD, CBBAD, BDACB, BDACB, correct. 11, DBA, BDD, DBA, BDD, oh, BBB. Hang on, 15 is apparently B. Whoo. 34, 35. Let's look at 34, 35. Is there any proof that we have? Oh, the system is the aristocracy, is the people. You know, I'll let that go. Yeah, I'll let that go. If I had time, I actually would have come back to that. If I had time, I would have come back to that. But that last, I got distracted in the middle of reading. That really screwed my time. Oh, that's because it was not necessary, but it happened. Anyway, ACCD. So you can tell I'm frustrated about it, but these things happen. I'm trying to chill out. 21. ADA. ADA. Okay. 24. DCCA. DCCA. BDA. BDA. 31. DAA. 34. BCB. C. Okay. 38. AD. AD. 39. 40, I mean. AB. AB. Okay. And I only have one more suspicious one that I was kind of suspicious about. But let's look. DBC. DBA. 42. DBC, DBA. Okay. And then 48. AA, CCC. And then we'll have AA, CDC. And over time, what? I think that's wrong. No. 51 cannot be D. The presence of lizards helps to reduce variability in the number of spiders over time. So you're saying that when I'm looking at things with lizards, the variability goes down over time? But look, we have May. We have December. No, it goes up and down. From May to December, from down to up, then May to December. There's no way that reduces variability over time. The variability, it's still curving. It's going up and down. So that's just wrong. This answer key is wrong. But the number of lizards in a given plot varies over time. That's also wrong. That's also wrong. So let's see what happened. Oh my God. Spring. Let's look at spring. So for me, I think spring as May to, right, March to June, March to May, March to June. But it's kind of, so they do jump up in spring. This is jumping up in spring and then kind of slowing down by, but then this peaked at July, so it's kind of confusing. But it does tend to drop after, by the time it's August, it's dropping again. But we don't have hard evidence of that. That's such a strange question. The presence of lizards helps to reduce variability in the number of spiders over time. The overtime is the hard part. The presence of lizards means we're comparing, now that I think about it, we're comparing these two. This is with presence of lizards. The bottom is with presence of lizards. But what is reduced variability over time? That's crazy. Okay. I see. So D is correct, but over time, I was reading it as reduce over time, but which I think is natural. But you don't really need over time. I wish the answer choice just said the presence of lizards helps to reduce variability in the number of species, or variability over time in the number of species. Variability through time, over time, in the number of species. If it said that, I would have at least understood D right away. But because it didn't say, it put it all the way at the end, it just sounded like a regular adverb for reducing, helps to reduce over time. So that was very confusing, but now that I understand how grammatically I was supposed to parse it, I can accept the answer choice because the other ones are wrong. The number of lizards is the wrong word. And then there's no proof. This actually was a huge time sink. That was a big trap. That overtime, if it wasn't for that overtime, I think I would have gotten this pretty quickly. But this time sink destroyed me, Man, that's anyway, -2. All right, let me take a quick break before I go into the writing. I'm going to go into the writing as soon as possible. Just give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, guys, let's get started. Gonna move. Not my best performance. Honestly, it should have been. It should have been okay. I just let myself get distracted. There's something just entered my mind and kind of messed me up. It was bad because it was such a promising start too, right? But things happen. Things happen. Kind of deal with it. Go with it. Go with the flow. And here we are with the next test. I'm about to reset and start my time, and we're gonna start the writing test in 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, that's a pen. Repairs, travel, frets, rusty cleats. Okay, yeah. Tuned. Not so that's iffy. We want to talk about the wear and tear. Yes, so that's B. Potent repairs, comprehensive maintenance, and effective repairs. Significant repairs. That makes sense. Big repairs. Comprehensive maintenance and big repairs. Professionals. There's typos in this. So not perfect. I'm a little surprised. I thought with the QAS we'd have the original file. Here's the following sentence. Piano tuning became a profession at the start of the superseded by the modern piano. What? Tuning? We're talking about repair, so no. Yes, tangential. Correct. And now we're on. We need trained professionals with expert knowledge of both mechanics and music. Let's keep it moving. Becoming a musical instrument technician requires dedication to learning the intricacies of instruments. The shortest answer over here. Many technicians are musicians. Many technicians are musicians themselves, with background in all this other stuff. Generally specialized, they have to have extensive knowledge. If it's not performing to standards, needs to be able to diagnose and then advise SE. Perform repairs. Likewise, seems weird. A trumpet might not be functioning. For example, because the valves have become sticky, we're at 220. Or the joints have developed air leaks. Or, no, this is good. The metal parts have been dented. There's all these different potential reasons. Musical instrument technicians are needed in a variety of settings. That sounds like a good first sentence. We're going to add this whole thing about other serving, opening their own shops or serving. So we're going to talk about the ways that they serve. Large manufacturers such as Steinway, hire, SVA, subject verb agreement, instrument technicians to work at the factories and retail stores. Some technicians get to work at concert venues and music festivals, setting up instruments. Okay, cool. A concert technician, this is connected to concert, has traveled extensively and done all these things. He has never had, right? After obtaining her certification, Michelle Lamb worked on and then start her own business. Hang on. Their own shops over here. Okay. Right, this her was a little shocking, this word her. So this made me want to double check over here. So that makes sense. I am going to stick this in front of 6, so after 5. Other technicians open their own shops. So she opened her own business. She travels to homes. Right. 10. That's good. 11. Though study and practice are necessary, vital service. Oops, no comma. Live performance, study sessions, and careers all rely. Correct. So we are at 410. Let's go. Remix, reuse, repurpose. Remix is like music, right? Technology has creative expression. No matter the form of art, the spread of software can be cut parts of different songs and paste them together. The spread has spurred the creation of a music genre. No, we're talking only about music right now, so art form is a little suspicious. Art is a little broad, especially music sounds right. Software developers off. Let me just double check that we are just mainly talking about music. We definitely are talking about music. So especially in music, opponents of this art form maintain that remix artists violate copyright law because they borrow material from protected works to the financial detriment. Detriment of. That's fine. The financial detriment of the original artist. These are what the opponents say. However, remixing is a culturally valuable art form. Okay, cool. Now we're going straight into an example. Is this first sentence fine? I guess so. But let's look at this question. His songs are composed entirely. Well, actually, that kind of helps. Samples from. And here, this is the definition of sample, so it should come after sentence 1. He has been mixed up in debates. He only uses samples. He collects samples from songs. Yeah, that's correct. So, different lengths. Cuts them and then arranges them into a different form. Although his album consists of hundreds of samples, he thinks they're original because we get rid of this comma, recontextualize. Provides new ways of relating to the old. Fair use. A legally permissible borrowing. That sounds okay. Legal and lawful. Okay, that's and is useless. Legal acquisition, that's unnecessary and is also confusing. Okay, correct. For material to qualify as fair use, however, the borrower must not only transfer the meaning of the original, but also borrow only a small part of it, which makes some sense. But is that the point? Sets up the next sentence. If a sample hurts the sale, then does not. Okay, so it must not only transform but also help not affect the revenue. Right, there we go. That is not affect the revenue. And we're at 7:05 right now. To obtain a license if it's going to affect the revenue, which is costly and cumbersome for independent artists. It actually promotes interest. I mean, that's true. To protect, important to do something. By not allowing complete copies to be distributed, remix art is not complete copies. It's a repurposing of source materials that makes its audience think about how One Piece fits. Should encourage this creative interaction, especially when its popularity seems off topic. It seems critical off topic. Renews interest. This improves is a little sus because on an important idea it renews interest. That literally came. We definitely know that this was an important idea in the passage because this came right here. It actually supports the original. It helps the original. That is my final answer. Let's go. 8:30. Let's go. 23 to 33. Oh, my bad. Just dropped my iPad. Okay, just dropped my iPad. And now we are at 8:50. Did I write the time? The motivation that reputation gives. The motivation for reputation. Okay, whatever. Motivating people to engage in social is a challenge. Comma. The only way to encourage is through rewards and penalties. What they've learned, though, is that reputation is strong. That aiding the public good is a beneficial thing for everyone. Such choices might entail short-term costs, but they carry a long-term benefit. Short-term costs for long-term benefit. Sacrifice personal convenience for the sake of the greater good. They might be actually able to sacrifice for individuals' benefit some day. Okay. If I sacrifice myself, then other people might sacrifice for me. Okay, that makes sense. The team of researchers theorized about the history. No. They tested something. Okay, I see. Tested the effectiveness of reputation incentives. That makes sense. Let me just double check. By comparing different sign-up methods for a voluntary program aimed at preventing domestic failures. For the program, permitted the installation of a device in their homes that limited the use of air conditioning. Highest. So air conditioning limiting is a sacrifice. So we want to give them the ability to increase their reputation, right? So B over here has to be correct because no, news kind of yeah. We're testing. Research placed, past tense. Oh, okay. The sign-up sheet is public, which gives them reputation. Anonymous code or use their names, right? So this is reputation. So found that the observable, as in reputation, was 3 times more effective than the yeah, that's good. Then the observable sign-up strategy was 3 times more effective than the anonymous one was, right? So we can just keep the then. They also determined that the observer sign-up was considered more effective offering yeah. So financial reward is beat by this, by reputation reward. We already have the word though here. We can get rid of this. Since reputation sometimes fails to promote good deeds, it's kind of sudden. The strength of it varies. Although reputation, right, can be powerful, good. Although reputation can be good, it varies. Good varies. There we go. For example, in Yale's study, observability of the location, where sign-up sheets were posted in high activity locations. So a small difference, I guess. That's still 3 times difference, though. Almost 3 times difference. No, 2 times difference. What the? There's something weird here. There's an error there. This is just grammatically wrong. Okay, where sign-up sheets were posted, I'm going to go with that because that makes sense. A difference 6.6. The more observer, the action. But in less active, that's perfect. That should be a yes. What? Only 11. Oh, right. So the more visible the public space, the bigger the difference. Okay. 2.4, 3.8. Accurate support the argument. To acknowledge an opposing point of view is not correct. So support the argument. There we go. And did I miss a question over here? No, I didn't. It's just that I had that weird thing over here with the people living in them. Fewest people. No, that makes no sense anyway. And this is just grammatically wrong. So something strange there. Okay, the more observable, the more likely it is. Correct, to benefit. There's no problem. That is 14, 15. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Photo dancing in the dark. These plants be dancing in the dark. Photosynthesis in the dark. Although it has been known for centuries that plants how converting light energy to chemical energy in the form of sugars. Chemists, yep, that's no problem. The Chemists by the chemists Melvin and Benson. Carbon labeling. Plants need light exposure. Do they need light exposure? Do they need light exposure to construct sugars while they break it down? Hang on, what? Okay, so we're breaking down CO2 with C14, so C14O2 or something like that. 14 CO2, sure. As a radio trace. Oh, okay, so this is just regular. Okay, so we can just watch it as though they were. Right, because 14 CO2 is just a special visible CO2. It's like a tracing CO2. One sample was stored in the dark for 8 hours. So hang on, the question again is, do we need light exposure? So one obviously is dark, and that had CO2. Okay, sure. What's this question, 37? Events recounted in the paragraph. So we're going to talk about the actual exam. It's probably not a success, it's suspicious. One advantage, that's kind of suspicious. The question was, did night need to shine while they're breaking the bonds? This is kind of repetitive sounding, but okay. 2 samples maybe of living. Oh yeah, one sample, right? Because this word sample doesn't refer to anything. Yeah, it has to be, because it doesn't have anything to refer to. Okay, yeah. The other sample was exposed to bright light for 1 hour. This sample was considered to be pre-illuminated. Oh, that is confusing. Most parallel to, yeah, but okay, if you want to be most parallel, then you want to have whether they had CO2 or not. There. Wait, no CO2? Algae, what? Lamp. Wait, most parallel should be B, but now this hang on. This, why would you compare something with CO2 and without CO2 while one is, like, your control variables are all messed up. But parallel, grammatically speaking, this is the most parallel. I'm legit confused. This is like a weird experiment, but grammatically speaking, most parallel is B. So I'm going to stick with that for now. I'll come back to that in a second. That's super strange. Super strange. Hang on. iCloud, don't screw me now. 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 Oh, iCloud. Oh, iCloud did not screw me. Okay. iCloud has, like, honestly, iCloud seems like it was invented in, like, it seems like it's from, like, the freaking a different era. I mean, it keeps, like, rewriting over itself if I just open it in some other document. Anyway, ignore it. I'm looking at 38. I'm actually losing time right now because this question is, like, stupid confusing. But let's go. After removing the dark air from both containers and placing them in the dark, the samples were exposed to CO. Well, okay, right. After removing, the researchers exposed the samples to 14 CO2. So one was in the dark and had CO2. One was in the light and had no CO2, and then they both got CO2. 14 CO2. 5 minutes later, the algae samples were killed. the algae samples were killed. I'm literally not understanding this rest. I feel like did this get copied wrong? I'm like super lost right now. 5 minutes later, these samples were killed. Initially stored in the dark and produced made with the traceable seed. In other words, okay, that makes sense. But the other sample, which had initially been exposed to 1 hour light, produced measurable concentrations of radioactive sugars. Produced measurable of sugars. Measurable those can you produce concentrations that are measurable? Concentrations of sugars. Sums of sugars? It's kind of strange. I guess concentrations. Measurable sums sounds more natural to me. Measurable concentration sounds a little less natural to me. But this is wrecking me. Why is this taking so long? Okay. In this sample, carbon atoms from the 14CO2 had been used. Combining. Okay. It makes it clear that the carbon atoms are more central to the discussion than are. Okay. Carbon atoms from the CO2 have been used to construct the frame of the sugar glucose, along with. I would stick with carbon atoms from the CO2, along with O and H from another molecule. So carbon atoms. This and is a little long. Along with. So this is about right. This is exactly what I was looking at. That's okay. Using. Had also no. Okay, along with right. That makes it focus on the carbon. That's good. CO2 starved exposure to light. CO2 starved exposure to light. Oh, we finally have the answer. It was starved for CO2 during that light. Okay, so that's correct. Had stored the light's energy to later it then later used that stored energy to construct sugars in the dark. Okay. Hang on, what else was suspicious? Okay, this was a little suspicious, but I'm okay with that. Everything else, just grammatically, it's fine. It's just that was just hard to read, man. I didn't understand the experiment at all. It made no sense. 44. So I think what it means is, if I keep you in the dark, but if I keep you in the dark and give you carbon dioxide, you won't be able to synthesize. Even later. If I keep you in the dark, right? If I give you some light, and then I put you in the dark, you can use that light. Look at this typo. This is vague. Okay, let's look at the beginning of the next paragraph. We're able to conclude that light was not directly responsible, something else did, and they eventually spent some years figuring out something else. Maybe B is correct. I want to interpret. Let's interpret. Oh, that's... and set up the statement of the research concluded for that to begin. Set up the statement. Light did not have to shine on the plant while the chemicals took place. Therefore, it was not directly responsible. I guess that makes... Yeah, the question... Right, because we were trying to set up the next sentence. Literally, the statement provided at the beginning of... Right, so we're just trying to set up that one sentence. Man, this writing test is really weird. It's so... The questions are so specific. It's so specific. This writing test is basically like, can you follow the instructions? There were like 2 or 3 questions that were very, very specific. But that is good enough. Let us move. It is 12 o'clock. I'm actually kind of late, but I can squeeze in some time to do the answers. So let's do the answers. The correct answer, let's all go over here, is B, D, BCCB, BCCB, ADCA, DBABC, AAB, hang on, 17? AAB, good. 20, CBD, 23, CDB, CD, okay. 28, ADBA, BB, DABC, hang on. Please, are you serious? 36. Oh, as though it were, duh. As though it were. Was I not paying attention? I guess I was not. 2 errors on reading, 1 error on writing. 37, D. 38, BCDA. ADD. Wow, silly error there over there. Silly error, but things happen. The it were is clearly supposed to refer to the 14CO2, but I don't know. I guess I was lazy. I didn't look for the subject. and then they're reading. Look at how crazy this is. It doesn't even like... Look at iCloud just randomly saving that one page all wrong. Oh no, it came back. It just took a while. All right, well, that was not the worst. Not the best, not the worst. Definitely worse than I was expecting. Than I was hoping for, but you know, these things happen. 2 wrong on the reading, 1 wrong on the writing. Lesson of the day. I don't know. I was keeping good pace and everything. I just kind of got distracted with this big thought that kind of occurred to me. But besides that. These reading passages weren't that bad. So I think that last passage too shouldn't have been that bad. Can't really wrap up anything in particular. I'd have to go back and review the video and see what are some of the weird things that happened for me to remember what happened. For me to be able to like pull out some lessons. But if I try to say anything right now, maybe it'd be something like. Oh, I just can't think. What mistakes did I make? What mistakes did I make? It was largely just not using all my time, not being totally absorbed all the entire time. So there are strategies for increasing your focus while you're taking the test, like your posture, your breathing, stuff like that. And maybe I just failed to do that. I did go like, I did. I let myself get distracted. So, yeah, those are some things I could reflect on a little bit. And if you have tips on how you keep your focus, even when things are happening, and thoughts are occurring to you, come and please feel free to share them in the comment section below. All right, that was a decent test. Wish I could have shown you guys like a full, like me in beast mode, but kind of messed that up. So I'll see you guys again in the next one.